Hey everyone, let me tell you something real and it will change your life. You've been taught to be nice. Nice to everyone. You've been told to smile, be polite, put others first, and when it's a man, you've been taught to go above and beyond. But let me ask you something, is that getting you what you want? Is it bringing you respect? Is it moving you forward in life? Probably not. It's time to stop being nice and start being real. Nice gets you nowhere. It's passive, it's easy, but you're not here to be easy. You're here to stand tall, to make your presence known, to demand respect, and to make people earn your time, your energy, and your attention. Start by asserting your value. Your time is precious, your energy is valuable, and your presence is a gift. Every day you wake up, you have an opportunity to make a difference, to impact the world, and to move closer to the goals that define your journey. And yet so many of us spend that time, that energy, and that presence giving it away to people who don't value it, especially to men who might only take from you without giving anything in return. It's time to stop doing that. When you're constantly trying to please others, especially men, you end up losing yourself in the process. You're chasing their approval, their validation, their affection, and in doing so, you become less of who you truly are and more of who they want you to be. The moment you start adjusting who you are just to fit someone else's mold, you've already lost. It's a dangerous cycle. You lose your sense of self, your confidence, your joy, and you begin to doubt whether you're worthy of the respect you deserve. But let me tell you, you are worthy. You are not here to be a background character in someone else's life. You are here to shine. You are meant to be seen. You are meant to be heard. And most importantly, you are meant to be respected. It's time to stop giving away your kindness, your time, and your love freely without expecting anything in return. You give and give, thinking that if you're good enough, if you're sweet enough, if you're kind enough, then maybe, just maybe, you'll get the same in return. But that's not how it works. That's not how life or relationships are meant to function. Kindness should never be conditional, but you also shouldn't be in the business of giving it to people who don't appreciate it. When you constantly give and don't receive, you begin to feel drained. It's like you're pouring water into a glass that's already full. You give your time, you give your energy, and you give your heart, but no one is pouring anything back into you. So the glass is empty. You're empty. And when that happens, you lose your spark. You lose the very essence of who you are. That's when you start doubting your worth and wondering why you're giving so much of yourself to people who don't see the value in it. It's time to stop this pattern. It's time to recognize that your value doesn't come from how much you can give to others. Your value is inherent. It comes from who you are, not from what you do for others. You are enough. You don't need to prove your worth by sacrificing your needs for someone else's comfort. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. What matters is how you see yourself. What matters is how you treat yourself. The moment you start to recognize your worth, you stop letting people walk all over you. You stop letting people take more than they're giving. And you stop wasting your time on those who don't see you as the treasure that you are. When you start asserting your value, the world changes. You will stop attracting people who want to use you, and you'll begin attracting those who appreciate you for who you truly are. You'll start demanding respect because you've already given yourself that respect. You won't allow yourself to be treated like an afterthought because you know you are meant to be the main character in your own life story. People will begin to see the energy you bring to the table, and they'll either meet you where you are or move out of your way. But either way, you won't be wasting your energy on those who can't recognize your worth. You are meant to be seen. You are meant to be heard. Don't forget that. Don't let anyone make you feel like an afterthought. You are worthy of everything you give and more. So stop giving it away freely to people who don't deserve it. Start recognizing the value in yourself first, because when you do, everything else will fall into place. Your time, your energy, your love, these are treasures. Don't let anyone treat them like they're disposable. They are not, and neither are you. Set boundaries and don't apologize for it. You have every right to protect your time, your energy, and your heart. For too long, we've been told that boundaries are selfish or that setting them will make others uncomfortable. But the truth is, boundaries are not about pushing people away, they're about protecting yourself. They're about ensuring that the relationships you engage in are healthy, balanced, and respectful. And if someone doesn't respect your boundaries, that's not your problem, that's theirs. No one, no matter who they are, has the right to take advantage of your time or your heart. You're not here to be everyone's emotional dumping ground, and you certainly aren't meant to be at the mercy of anyone's demands. Every minute of your day, every ounce of your energy, and every piece of your soul are valuable. When you allow people to cross those lines without consequence, you're teaching them that it's okay to disregard your needs. You're telling them that you're not worth the effort to respect. And that's where the problem begins. When you establish boundaries, you're taking a stand. You're telling the world, this is who I am. This is what I stand for. This is what I need, and this is what I will not tolerate. Boundaries are a declaration of self-respect. They communicate that you understand your worth and that you're unwilling to let others devalue you. You're not asking for permission to set boundaries. You're simply declaring that they exist, and you expect them to be honored. That's what self-respect looks like. But far too often, we feel guilty for enforcing those boundaries. We feel like we need to apologize for wanting to protect our peace, our time, and our energy. It's as though we've been conditioned to believe that being available to others at all times is the right thing to do. Let me tell you right now, it's not. You don't owe anyone your time if they aren't willing to give you theirs in return. You don't owe anyone your energy if they're only going to drain it. You don't owe anyone access to your heart if they haven't earned it. When you set those boundaries, you're teaching people how to treat you. If you let someone cross your lines without saying anything, you're silently telling them that it's okay to do so. If you let them disrespect your time, your emotions, or your space, you're saying that you don't value those things enough to protect them. But if you stand your ground, if you firmly say, this is where I draw the line, you're telling the world that you respect yourself enough to enforce your limits. And if anyone crosses those boundaries, let them feel it. I'm not saying be aggressive or retaliatory. I'm saying don't let it slide. Don't let people walk over you just because you're afraid of confrontation or making them uncomfortable. People will test your boundaries. It's natural. But the moment they do, make sure they know you're not afraid to stand your ground. Whether it's stepping back from a toxic relationship or telling someone that you need space, make sure you make it clear that your boundaries are not negotiable. When you do this, you'll find that people start respecting you in ways they never did before. They'll see that you're serious about your time and your peace, and they'll begin to treat you accordingly. Setting boundaries isn't just about protecting yourself, it's about teaching others how to treat you. When you stand firm, when you assert what you need and what you won't tolerate, you invite better relationships into your life. You create space for people who respect you, who appreciate you, and who understand the value of mutual effort. The more you enforce those boundaries, the more you'll see your relationships transform. People will either rise to meet your standards or fall away, but either way, you'll be left with the respect you deserve. So don't apologize for setting boundaries. Don't apologize for making people respect your time, your heart, and your energy. You're not being difficult. You're not being selfish. You're being smart. You're being strong. And above all, you're showing the world that you know your worth. Don't ever let anyone make you feel bad for standing up for yourself, because when you respect yourself enough to set those boundaries, you show the world exactly how to treat you, and that's a lesson they'll never forget. And let me tell you, don't confuse strength with being nice. Too often, we're taught that being nice is the key to getting along with others, to being liked, to fitting in. But here's the truth, being nice doesn't make you strong. Strength is not about constantly saying yes to everyone else, even when it drains you. It's not about letting people walk all over you because you're afraid of upsetting them. No, strength is about standing firm, even when everyone around you wants you to bend. Strength is about knowing who you are, what you deserve, and being unwavering in your conviction. Strength is knowing when to say no even when it feels uncomfortable, even when you're scared of the consequences. And yes, sometimes it's hard, but that's what makes it powerful. Strength is putting yourself first without feeling guilty. The world doesn't teach us to do that. We're taught to put others first, to always be the helper, to always be the one who gives. But when you constantly put others' needs ahead of your own, you lose yourself. You lose your peace, you lose your balance, and you lose your sense of worth. You start to think that your value is determined by how much you can do for everyone else. But that's not the way it works. If you're always putting others first, always running on empty because you're trying to please everyone else, you'll eventually burn out. And when you burn out, you're no good to anyone, not even yourself. Strength is saying no when you need to, even if it means disappointing others. It's okay to disappoint people sometimes, because you're not here to serve everyone else at the cost of your own happiness and well-being. If you're waiting for the world to treat you the way you deserve, you're going to be waiting forever. The truth is, the world doesn't owe you anything. It doesn't owe you respect. It doesn't owe you kindness. It doesn't owe you love. What you get from the world is a reflection of what you're willing to demand. If you wait for others to treat you right, you'll be stuck waiting for a long time. And while you're waiting, you'll be letting others walk all over you, letting them take from you without giving anything in return. That's not the way to live. You don't deserve to be treated like an afterthought. You deserve to be treated like you matter, because you do. But the only way to make that happen is to demand it. It starts with you. No one can give you what you're not willing to give yourself. If you don't respect your own time, your own needs, and your own boundaries, why would anyone else? You set the tone for how you're treated. If you allow people to take advantage of you, to use you up, to disrespect you, that's what you're going to get. But if you stand firm in your convictions, if you make it clear that you will not tolerate being treated poorly, people will start to take notice. The world will start to treat you the way you demand to be treated. But that starts with you first. It starts with you saying, I deserve better, and living your life as if you believe it. It starts with you saying, I matter, and making sure that others understand that too. No one can do that for you. You can't wait for someone else to come along and show you your worth. You have to know it for yourself. You have to be the one who believes in your own value, even when the world doesn't always show it. Because if you're not willing to show yourself that respect, if you're not willing to protect your peace, your energy, and your time, you can't expect anyone else to. You've got to be the one who sets the standard. You've got to be the one who demands what you deserve. So stop waiting for the world to treat you right. Stop hoping that people will see your worth and act accordingly. Start showing the world how to treat you. And remember, it begins with you. It begins with knowing your value, protecting it, and demanding that others recognize it. Strength isn't about being nice. It's about being strong enough to stand up for yourself, to say no when it's necessary, and to put yourself first without guilt. When you do that, the world will have no choice but to follow suit. Which brings me to the next thing: invest in yourself. Far too often, we get caught up in trying to meet the needs of everyone around us, friends, family, men, until we forget about our own needs. We pour all our time, energy, and focus into others, neglecting ourselves in the process. We think that by giving all of ourselves away, we're being selfless, that we're being good to the people around us. But in reality, when you're too busy pouring your energy into everyone else, you lose sight of your own purpose. You become so wrapped up in being what everyone else needs you to be that you forget who you are and what you're meant to accomplish. You're not here to be someone else's supporting role. You're here to play the lead. And the only way to do that is by investing in yourself, your goals, your growth, your well-being. When you put yourself last, you miss out on the chance to grow, to reach your full potential, and to truly live your purpose. It's not selfish to focus on yourself. It's necessary. You can't pour from an empty cup, and if you're constantly giving your energy away to others without refueling yourself, you'll eventually burn out. When you're not taking care of your own needs emotionally, physically, mentally, you're not in a position to give your best to anyone else. You're not even giving your best to yourself. But when you invest in yourself, when you prioritize your own growth and well-being, you build the strength, the energy, and the clarity you need to truly show up in your life and in your relationships. When you start focusing on your own goals, when you start taking the time to grow into the person you're meant to be, you begin to shift the way you move in the world. Suddenly, your energy becomes focused. Your purpose becomes clearer. You stop seeking validation from others because you no longer need it. You know your worth, and when you know your worth, the whole dynamic of your relationships changes. You stop giving away pieces of yourself to people who don't deserve it. You stop wasting your time on relationships that don't serve you. You stop settling for being second when you deserve to be first. And as you focus more on your growth, you start attracting the people who value you for who you are, not for what you can do for them. Investing in yourself isn't just about personal development. It's about taking the time to nurture your body, your mind, and your soul. It's about doing the work to heal from past hurts, to build your confidence, and to grow into the best version of yourself. It's about making sure you have the energy to pursue your dreams, the strength to overcome challenges, and the wisdom to know when to walk away from what no longer serves you. It's about making yourself a priority because no one else will. If you don't take the time to invest in yourself, to take care of your own needs, you're telling the world that you're not worth it. And that's the message that others will pick up on. They will see that you don't value yourself enough to protect your peace, and they will treat you accordingly. But when you choose to invest in yourself, when you choose to pour into your own growth and development, you become a magnet for better things. You start to attract the opportunities, the people, and the circumstances that align with the life you want to create. And you'll see that everything around you begins to change. Relationships become more balanced. You'll start meeting people who respect your boundaries and value you for who you are. You'll stop accepting less than you deserve because you'll know your worth. And as you grow, your life grows with you. Your goals become clearer. Your confidence skyrockets. Your energy becomes magnetic. So take a step back. Focus on your goals. Focus on your growth. Take care of yourself first and watch how everything around you changes. You are the most important investment you can make. When you invest in yourself, the return is exponential. Your life will start to reflect the strength, the confidence, and the purpose you've built within yourself. And when you're living your life from a place of strength and purpose, everything else, your relationships, your opportunities, your success will fall into place. And I know some of you think being nice means you have to be a constant presence. You think you need to do something all the time, show up, respond, be available whenever someone calls on you. But let me tell you, that's not the truth. There's a deeper strength in silence than you realize. There's power in walking away. There's power in not responding, in holding your peace. Not every situation requires your reaction. Not every person deserves your attention, especially when they haven't earned it. The world tells us that we need to be always on, always giving, always present. But in reality, there's incredible power in knowing when to step back and let things unfold without your involvement. When you stop feeling the need to be constantly available, you give yourself the chance to breathe, to refocus, and to remember who you are and what you stand for. Too often, we're conditioned to believe that being present at all times is a sign of commitment, love, or loyalty. But sometimes the strongest thing you can do is to not be there at all. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone by being a constant presence. You don't have to prove your worth by always showing up. True strength comes when you realize that your presence is a privilege, not a given. And you don't have to give it away to everyone who asks. Silence is not weakness. It's not the absence of action either. It's intentional. It's powerful. When you choose silence, you're choosing to protect your peace, to not let anyone or anything disturb your inner calm. You're choosing not to get caught up in every little drama, not to chase every demand that's placed on you. Silence speaks louder than words ever could. Your absence speaks volumes. When you choose to walk away, when you choose not to respond immediately or chase after people, you're sending a message: I am not here for the games. I am not here to be used. I am here for something bigger, and I don't need to prove myself to anyone. It's about knowing when to speak up and when to let your actions do the talking. There's a time for words and there's a time for silence. And that's the key, learning when to do each. You don't have to respond to every comment or argument. You don't have to react to everything that comes your way. When you stop giving everyone a piece of your energy, you start conserving your strength for the things that truly matter, the things that align with your purpose, the things that are worth your time and attention. Let them chase you. Let them wonder why you're not always there. When you remove yourself from situations that don't serve you, people start noticing. They start wondering where you went, why you're not as accessible as you once were. And that's when the power shifts. When you're always available, they know they can count on you to drop everything for them. But when you choose silence, when you make them feel the weight of your absence, they're left to think about the value of your presence. They're left to realize that you're not a constant, not a guarantee, and that you can't be taken for granted. This is about setting boundaries, about showing people that your time, your energy, your presence is valuable. And when you stop giving it away freely, people start to see you in a different light. They realize they can't just call on you whenever they want. They begin to understand that you are not someone to be used or overlooked. You're someone who commands respect, someone who doesn't have to be everywhere all the time to prove their worth. So let them chase you. Let them wonder why you're not always there, why you're not always available. Let them feel the absence of your energy, your time, your attention. And when they come looking for you, let them know that they need to show up differently, because you don't give yourself away easily. Your presence is a gift, and it should be treated as such. When you step back and hold your peace, you make the world come to you, and you show them that they need to earn a place in your life. You show them the power of your absence. And finally, earn respect. Don't seek approval. Let me make this crystal clear. You don't need anyone's validation to know your worth. You don't need a man to tell you you're valuable. The truth is, you are valuable whether he sees it or not. The sooner you internalize this, the sooner you'll stop bending over backwards trying to get someone else's approval, especially a man's. Stop putting your self-worth in someone else's hands. You don't need anyone else to tell you who you are or how valuable you are. You should already know that. When you start realizing that, everything changes. Too many of us have spent too much time chasing after validation. We've worked ourselves to the bone trying to get someone to see our worth, trying to get a man to notice us, trying to make sure everyone else knows we're important, we're good enough, we deserve love, we deserve respect. But the truth is, your worth doesn't come from anyone else's recognition. It doesn't come from their applause. It doesn't come from their approval. It comes from within you. When you respect yourself, when you know your value, you stop seeking external validation to feel worthy. You realize you've already got everything you need to succeed inside of you. The moment you stop seeking approval is the moment you free yourself. Free yourself from the chains of trying to fit into someone else's expectations. Free yourself from constantly measuring your worth against how others see you. When you stop seeking approval, you stop living for other people. You stop making decisions based on what others think. Instead, you start living for yourself. You start making decisions based on your own values, your own goals, your own vision of who you want to be. And that's freedom. Freedom to be yourself without fear. Freedom to walk your own path without asking for permission. Now, this isn't about arrogance. It's not about thinking you're better than anyone else. It's about knowing that you deserve the same respect that you give to others. You should never be in a position where you're begging someone to see you, begging for someone to acknowledge your worth. Because if you're in that position, you're already giving away your power. You're already showing them that you don't respect yourself enough to demand the respect you deserve. When you respect yourself, when you carry yourself like you know your worth, others will be forced to respect you too. You set the tone for how people treat you by how you treat yourself. If you let people walk all over you, if you tolerate disrespect, you're sending the message that it's okay to treat you like that. But when you stand firm in your own value, when you refuse to accept anything less than what you deserve, others will either rise to the occasion or walk away. And that's okay. Let them walk. Because the people who truly see your worth won't hesitate to respect you, to treat you with the dignity you deserve. It's about being unapologetic for who you are. When you respect yourself, you stop making excuses for your needs. You stop shrinking yourself to make others feel comfortable. You stop pretending to be someone you're not just to get someone's attention or approval. You start being real, and that's when real respect begins. It doesn't come from trying to impress someone or change yourself to fit someone else's mold. It comes from being exactly who you are, unapologetically. You've got to realize this: the only person whose approval you need is your own. Once you own that, once you stop looking to others for validation, you will walk differently. You will talk differently. You will carry yourself with a confidence that makes others respect you, whether they want to or not. Because when you know your worth, you don't need anyone else to tell you. You already know. And that's when people start treating you the way you've always deserved to be treated. So stop seeking approval. Stop chasing validation. Earn the respect you deserve by respecting yourself first. When you do that, you'll never have to chase after anyone's attention again. They'll come to you and they'll respect you because they will see what you already know you're worth. And that's power. Real power. In conclusion, everything I've said today boils down to this simple truth: you are not here to be overlooked, to be taken for granted, or to play the supporting role in someone else's life. You are here to live fully, to embrace your own worth, and to demand the respect you deserve. You do not have to bend over backwards for anyone, and you certainly don't need to seek approval from others to validate your existence. The world doesn't define your value, you do. And once you realize this, you stop wasting time on things and people that don't serve you, and you start living for yourself unapologetically. Stop being nice to men. Stop letting them take up space in your life without offering anything in return. Stop giving away your time, energy, and heart to people who don't appreciate them. Instead, start setting boundaries that protect your peace and show the world exactly how you deserve to be treated. When you respect yourself, others will be forced to respect you too. You don't need anyone's approval to know your worth. The only validation that matters is the one you give yourself. Understand this: your time is valuable, your presence is powerful, and your energy is precious. Stop giving it away freely to anyone who doesn't see it for what it is. When you learn to stop chasing approval, to step back and let them come to you, you begin to realize just how much control you have over your own life. Silence becomes your strength, and boundaries become your protection. You show people that your respect isn't something they get by default. It's something they have to earn, something they have to prove they deserve. The moment you stop seeking approval and start respecting yourself, everything changes. You stop settling for anything less than what you deserve. You stop tolerating disrespect and start demanding the treatment that aligns with your value. And when you walk with that kind of confidence, with that kind of self-respect, the world has no choice but to respond. They either rise to meet you or walk away. And either way, you're in control. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone. You are already enough. So take a step back and start focusing on yourself, your goals, your growth, your peace. Don't waste another minute trying to fit into someone else's idea of who you should be. You are enough just as you are. Let them wonder why you're not always there. Let them chase you. Let them feel the weight of your absence. And when they come to you, let them know they have to earn your time, your attention, and your respect. In the end, it's simple: earn respect. Don't seek approval. When you respect yourself, when you understand your worth, you'll never have to chase anyone for validation. The world will come to you and they'll respect you because they'll see exactly what you've always known: you are valuable, you are worthy, and you are enough. So I'm telling you, stop being nice. Start being real. Set boundaries, put yourself first, silence your critics with your actions, and make them earn the privilege of being in your life. Because once you start treating yourself like the treasure you are, you'll find that others will start treating you the same way. Thank you.